You know, why did I even buy an onion this big? That's what I'd like to know. Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
I'm tired. I'm phoning it in this episode. I'm owning it. Anyone gives me shit about this episode, I don't care. I really don't care today. I just got done an hour-long presentation with a bunch of boomers who asked me awful questions, but that's okay. That's why I have a job. They need that education. All right, tonight on the show, and this is a fan-requested recipe. We're making a sausage bake with potatoes and gravy. Here's a picture. One of the things I like to do when I don't feel inspired is I ask the PGC community, what should I make? Stephanie, aka Effersty, suggested this one-pan dish, which is sausages cooked on potatoes. And I said, winner, winner, sausage dinner. The first step is to make a drink. I have had 2, but who's counting? You counting?
I just got here.
2 drinks. Tonight is brought to you by the usual. The Modern Phil Special, vodka and seltzer. Vodka and seltzer. When you feel like you want to, hurt the liver, but, not kill it. You just want to send that liver a message. Nothing permanent. Listen, serious note. Life has peaks and valleys. Sometimes I feel good, and sometimes I don't. What I have learned is that if you don't feel good, you should really resist the urge to not do the things you normally would. And so that's why I'm filming this episode of PGC on a Tuesday night when I don't feel like it, because I would feel worse if I didn't. I've learned that. And maybe you should consider how that might reflect your own choices in your life. But it's none of my business, because it's your business. My business is me. I trimmed my mustache and now I've got, my mustache is ferreting away the drink from my mouth. My mustache says, no, don't rough up your liver. Don't do it. All right. This is a recipe. It really is. It starts with potatoes. And you could use baby potatoes. That is what the recipe describes. However, if you got regular potatoes, you can chop them up into the size of baby potatoes. And isn't that incredible? Isn't that amazing how cooking sometimes involves reducing the size of the natural food item in its purest form into something that is easier, more accessible to eat. Isn't that amazing? So here I have some regular potatoes. We're gonna do fairly large potatoes. I would say it's about 8 potatoes, small to medium, and I'm quartering them by cutting them into 4 pieces. I'm throwing them into the casserole to get an idea of how much volume that will take up, and I have confirmed to myself that that's approximately the amount of volume I would like them to take up, with the idea that there will be other things, and so I'm going to now remove them from the casserole. I was getting a sense of space and volume. These are the things they don't teach you in school. Okay, next up, we're gonna use 1 very large red onion in the place of 2 onions as described by the recipe. Those 2 onions were supposed to be quartered, but John, would you like to eat a roasted version of this in its size?
Hell yeah.
Unusual answer. We'll trim it up and then we'll cut it again. And to our amazement, although I did not do it symmetrically at all, these 1/8 of a big one are very similar to 1/4 of a small one. It's incredible how size and ratios and math work in cooking. It's almost like someone designed all this shit. It's almost like someone designed all this shit. We're gonna use 1 very large red onion in the place of 2 onions. It's incredible how size and ratios and math work in cooking. It's almost like someone designed all this shit. What a statement. Why did I even buy an onion this big? That's what I'd like to know. Okay, next is carrots. Real home-style cookery today. I'm peeling the carrots. I'm gonna start with 4. My carrots are not large. I might do more. I would say that, like just about everything else in this recipe, you should put it in as many carrots as would be desirable in ratio to the rest of your dish, according with your preferences and your outlook in life. Take those carrots and chop them into fairly large bite-sized pieces. I think that's plenty. All right, this is garlic that I am peeling. You want about 2 whole cloves of garlic. I'm using 3 because they're oddly shaped and you can mince them, smash them, or chop them. Okay, so here's my food hack tip. I've given it many times before. If you're gonna use fresh herbs and you're not that particular about what they are, which in this context doesn't really matter, buy the Poultry Blend. A good value Poultry Blend. You get a little rosemary, a little sage, and a little thyme. And so you don't gotta buy 3 packets of herbs, you buy 1. That'll save you probably $4. How many herbs do you want to use? Well, that's up to you, and dried herbs would be just fine. The base recipe for this calls for dried thyme and dried oregano, but I don't think that anyone will complain if we add these other herbs in, because I'm not a complainer, and John generally just doesn't like food, so... Alright, we'll leave that there for now. And then we'll remember to preheat the oven, which I should have started with. Today we will be cooking at 390 degrees. Alright, okay, I think what we do next is we put the herbs in to this bowl. There they are. If you see like a big honking stem, get it out of there. Alright, in this bowl, we are going to hit it with olive oil. I'm using California Olive Ranch. Nice olive oil. You can use whatever olive oil you have on hand. We will pepper it and we will salt it, but in our ongoing efforts to truly elevate cooking to that higher plane of dialing it in, we're going to be using hand-harvested Arctic thyme salt from Iceland. That's right, it's salt with flowers in it. Look at that. Flaky salt is fun. Looks great. Okay, now mix it on up. Mix it on up. Now to me, it looks a little dry. It looks like I used some more olive oil. Smells pretty good. So here's our casserole. If you got stuff stuck in a bowl, you know, go through the effort to get it out. Some of it. That's plenty. We tried. Now give it a shake without breaking anything. Okay, looking pretty good. And now we will add the sausages. Today I have a mix. I've got some brats and I've got some pork and apple sausages. I thought that would be fun. So those are the regular brats. The apples, they got some apple in there or something. All right, now you take your sausages and you put them on top of the tray. And the idea is that the sausages roast and help to flavor the underlying vegetables, which is nice. Now, if you would like your sausages to brown in the oven, which you probably do want that, it makes it taste good, you can hit this with some cooking spray. You literally just do that. Adding more oil to the outside helps it brown. Yeah. Science. Okay, now, at this point, you might be saying, you know, that looks pretty simple and, you know, probably pretty delicious, probably fine. But there's another step. It's the gravy step, which is real crazy. Now, you saw how we scooped out some of that good from this bowl. Not totally necessary because we're gonna add some good to this bowl. We're gonna reuse the bowl. Those are the English words I'm trying to say. All right, here I have 2 tablespoons of butter, which I wanna melt. And what we're doing in creating this gravy is we're basically making a roux, adding a little bit of stock, and then instead of cooking it into a gravy in a pan, we're actually gonna put it in the casserole, and like the juices of the sausage are gonna get in there, and it's gonna gravyfy while you're already bakifying it. It's gonna be good. I hope. I never made it, but it seems like it would work in concept. Okay, we got our melted butter, throw it on in there, and then we're gonna add some flour. I don't know what happened to my tablespoon measurement spoon, but that's been MIA for a while, so I gotta do a whole bunch of teaspoons. And also, I can't fit my hand in this jar. Cornip did this years ago, and I'm just gonna keep complaining about it, because it's bullshit. But you want a little over 2 tablespoons of flour. You can tell where my brain's at that I'm having a hard time counting to 6. Okay, then we whisk that together. Look at this roux we're making with no heat. It's so weird. So weird. And then we're gonna mix up some stock. If you have stock on hand, use that. If you don't, you can use beef shits like we're using today, or chicken shits, or really any kind of stock would do. Come on, good value. That's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. And we need two cups of stock, which you pour directly into this bowl. And if it's not fully mixed in the mixing thing, you know, whisk it together. Okay, and it'll grab some of those extra herbs in the bowl. But essentially what we've made is a real lazy gravy that'll thicken up as we bake it. And if there's lumps, it's fine. I'm not really shooting for the height of culinary accomplishment with this. You can see I poured it back into the measuring cup. I did that because you need to fairly precisely pour this. You don't want to douse everything, because the goal is by applying heat to the top, some of it will crisp up. So literally in the corner or the side, gently pour this in a single spot. And if you need to give it a shake, you can. So now the cooking liquid will help cook some of the bottom part, but there also will be plenty of surface area on the top to get brown stuff, which is ultimately what tastes good on food most of the time. All right, we've done it, I think. I don't think we skipped any steps. Now we need to bake it. So we're gonna bake it for around 50 minutes, and halfway through we're gonna flip the sausages to try to maximize Brown Town. We'll be back in about 25 minutes. It'll be right now. Hey-o, it's been 25 minutes. Whew, ha. Okay, the sausages looking nice. They didn't get that brown, but that's okay. Let's give them a flip. All right, now if you want it, you could spray the other side. But you don't gotta. Put it back in. Another 25 minutes. Smelling amazing. And I tell you what, if we're not happy with how it looks in another 25 minutes, we could just keep cooking it. So we'll be back. All right, here we are. Steamy. I gotta say, this looks delicious. And we even got a little brown on some of those sausages. But my preferred way of seeing if things are done is to just generally poke things with a knife. The potatoes feel maybe a little bit underdone, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're fine. No, they're fine. The sausages definitely done. If you poke sausages with a knife, bear in mind they might shoot juice. As an example. Sausages are clearly done. My only concern is for like this potato. This one in particular. I almost want to cook these longer. That's slightly underdone potato. Maybe if we had chopped them up more, they'd be done. But I think I'm gonna let this roll. I think they will improve with continually cooking. Let's let it roll. I think it's the right call. It smells really good though. We'll be back. All right, 15 minutes later, we'll call it. I think it's done. Looks more gravy, potatoes look more done. That's a total cook time, for those of you who are keeping track, of 65 minutes, or 1 hour and 5 minutes. My initial impression is that the gravy seems a little thin. That might have been my fault. Maybe I didn't do the flour right. I also can tell, just by moving the vegetables around, that some of them did stick, which I'm kind of surprised about. I didn't think they would necessarily. But let's plate this up. So moving your sausages to the side, go ahead and scoop you up some of that good. And my initial impression is that it does in fact look like some good. And then we'll top with a sausage, maybe 2 sausages, and dinner is served. That's it. That's it. We done did it. Okay, all right. The food is very tender now. It's also very hot. Maybe I overcooked them? Oh, that's delicious. The gravy's great. Let's try a sausage. It tastes just like someone did a nice roast dinner. Man, my mouth's burning a little bit. You know why this is great? It tastes wholesome and like we put a bunch of effort into it. It tastes like a home-cooked meal, but we didn't try that hard at all. So it got us to this really nice, wholesome dinner, traditional, but just with a fraction of the work that it would take to get there otherwise. I think this is delicious. It's really yummy. I'm looking forward to eating this, and it's the perfect dish for tonight, when I didn't really want to cook at all. When I really didn't want to film a show about cooking. But we did anyways, and we had a good time. And I feel pretty good on the other side of it. That's how you do it. That's how we did it. That's it.